Remember to join us then.
Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you're free to pick up your telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything. Politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, any issue trending. We encourage you also to express your views and opinion. Opinions are not cast in stone. They are your opinion. It doesn't necessarily mean they are facts, but it's good to share your opinion. I express my opinion on any issue once I'm comfortable with the topic, particularly politics. If I have new information, then I'll change my opinion. And I'll even give you the reason why I come to that opinion. The democratic system provides an opportunity for us to choose the government we want and for us to make suggestions and be critical of the government that we have. And I think sometimes that's where the challenge comes in. Sometimes people don't want you to express your opinion because it may not show up the government is support in a good light. But what the opinion does, it helps to keep the government in a straitjacket. There are too much evidence in the world, too much a history where politicians went bad because there was no check and balance. And they had a good relationship. Take, for instance, Leopold. And I think perhaps you could research Leopold. He was also known as the butcher of the Congo. So every Grenadian who been to a school system should know about Leopold. The Belgian government gave Leopold the authority to do what he was doing in the Congo. What he was doing was so brutal, unacceptable, that the imperial governments in Europe were the ones who put pressure on the Belgian government to curtail the power of King Leopold. Leopold told Emperor William, "It seems that we kings have nothing to do these days but make money." And he used the Congo. Over 10 million Africans lost their life or were maimed, died of starvation because of Leopold's greed and his thirst for money. But you see, he had a special charm. So he was able to woo the Belgian government and they would not be critical of him. Maurice Bishop in Grenada jailed 3,000 Grenadians in a small country like Grenada, 100,000 people. Almost 3% of the population was in jail. Treated the village of Montreach and the surrounding area and Tivoli and the surrounding area very, very badly. Our brothers in the diaspora hail Maurice Bishop because Bishop was a good orator and he lied to them in the international community. The discourse he had was appealing to Grenadians in the international community. So they hail him and they never paid attention. They never paid attention to his brutality in Grenada. Remember what Bishop did to the Rasta man? He told them he's going to legalize weed. He came to the village called the Comforter. And he told them they could plant weed. And Fargo went to the police and tell the police they tiffy weed. In those days, militia used to slap up police. So it's when they threatened the police brought the young man to the magistrate and he spent 2 years in prison. Because they believe Morris Bishop. In Grenada today, we have a prime minister that seems sitting down and planning to tell lies. The international, our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, seems to welcome him because he has fine language and they like the stories he's telling and they ignoring what is being done in Grenada. He lied to the Rasta again. Everybody like to jump up on the Rasta, you know. Tell the Rasta he go legalize weed. Rasta sell take weed, go in and have exhibition. The police didn't bring them in court, but the police take the weed from them and say weed is not legalized. 1 year, we had the lawyer that like weed jumping up about legalizing weed. Now he changed his tongue. He's speaking with forked tongues. If our people in the community express their views and opinion and tell the Prime Minister of Grenada that you are not supposed to tell lies to these people. You're not supposed to lie to the Rasta. Bishop lied to them before. You're not supposed to lie to the Imani. The NDC lied to them before. You're not supposed to lie to the elderly, the physically challenged, and disadvantaged children. They were lied to before. That might help change the course of the present government. The present government is very insensitive to the cries of the elderly. And some of the chief supporters are continuing with utterances and statements that could fracture the very community we live in. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre,
yes,
and how
my
are
brother,
you?
welcome, man.
How are you?
Great, man. Good, man.
All right, well, I'm good too.
Yeah.
Let them go ahead with their lives. Tell them to look at the news in the U.S. and they go see where they're jailing them. You don't want me to say hang them.
No.
And you have another caller. No, and you have another caller. I like to challenge that.
Yeah.
Tell them listen to the U.S. news. We go jail them. When they behave with their attitude, let them go ahead with what they want to do. We're going to jail them. It doesn't matter how long it takes. We go jail them. All right?
Yes, caller. You see, I particularly like to encourage our people to be vigilant. And maybe we could help our politicians not to go down the wrong trajectory. You don't have to do it. The past Prime Minister Tillman Thomas says the government is rebalancing. He's justifying the government victimization process as rebalancing. The gentleman St. Jude, who always on the radio speaking about morality and truth, now speaking with forked tongues. And he called it realignment. Today, I ask the minister responsible for the seed program to go in Bailan, go in Bamboo, and find out the gentleman that's in Bamboo. You don't have any running water. Don't have inside toilet. Go and visit him and ask yourself, is it justified in the manner in which the government is treating him? You said you have medical doctors on the seed program benefiting. You gave the impression that medical doctors are benefiting from the seed program. Go and find out if he's one of them. Last week, I called on Comrade Dennis Cornwall to visit the sister with the white cane. I don't know why she have a white cane, but visited Brother Dennis Cornwall. And when you visit her, get a braille machine for her. She say if she have a braille machine, she might able to better take care of herself. I don't know what she doing with a braille machine. But Comrade Dennis Cornwall, it become necessary for us to point out these focal points. Because you all are giving the international community the impression that the people on the seed program that was benefiting, you have medical doctors and you are dead people. I understand some dead people calling you now and telling you I'm alive. Don't remove me from the program. In this modern day technology, your lies is being cut up with. So the minister responsible for the seed program, I don't know who you are. If you cannot find the gentleman in Bamboo, ask number 10. Number 10 must be able to help you. She must be able to help you. Ask number 10. You see, we cannot continue like that. I've asked the question 1,000 times. And I've spoken to many individuals in the NDC. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good day, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, the amount of mistruth and lies these guys telling, they can't keep up with what that remember, what they're not supposed to remember, and what they're saying. So all of a sudden, Mr. Pierre, you have dead people in Grenada that talking to them. You have ghosts in Grenada now. Because I happened to see a town hall meeting, I think it was in St. Paul's, and a lady was trying to explain to the ministers and the prime minister, someone they took off that they say died was actually alive and well, well not well, but need assistance with the seed money, and she said she not talking to the people. Now, these guys do these things and they're enriching themselves, so they're empowering the poor and they're enriching themselves. And you realize lately that they're trying to be away from all, well, from day one, they're away from all press conference. But for some reason, all like projects that was done under NMP have a problem now. Like for instance, I heard the Minister of Social Development saying that them houses in Corinth have issued that the leaking and all sorts of things. So even if the person wasn't occupied, how the leaking? What was the problem from the start? I mean, they find all kind of problem to do their own tweaking. I said, them dude. Let me tell you something. This traveling by this Prime Minister and Minister of National Security and the Minister for St. John, you have a big function going on in St. John and you're not there as a minister. I don't think the Minister of Culture was either there or not, but I don't know. Now, who's paying for all these people traveling? Because I hear they travel with boyfriend and girlfriend and spouses. You know? Then you're seeing that the Prime Minister and a Minister travel, but you're seeing other members of the NDC, not members of the government. So I want to know who paying for all of this thing. I mean, come on, these men spending money, they're doing things, and they don't care what people say. They just do what they want, and we have to live with it for the next 4.5 years or whatever, 4 years, until they come out. You have a minister from the south. Go ahead.
I think the NDC could do what they want, but we also have to make things catch up with them. Because they can tell the lies, but now we have to point out the lies on social media.
And lately, there's a trend of, I'm hearing about people getting threatened, people getting letters below the door, people sending messages for people on radio stations, what to talk about and careful what you're saying. So we come in kind of draconian and now, we can't talk. For the last 9 years, you have somebody spreading propaganda, rumors, calling graders, all kind of names. This is talking prime ministers, ministers of government, calling them all kind of names. Nobody said that. All of a sudden, no, you all have a problem. But they knows that. And you see where they have to go? By force or by the ballot. Either way they have to go.
The ballot that they have to take them by. The ballot. You see, we have to understand that the NDC sold a story that people bought. People believe that Grenadians were given handout. People believe there were dead people on the list getting money. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my darling.
And again.
Good to hear your voice.
You know what I would like the Minister for Social Development to do? To upgrade the seed office in Grenville. You go in the seed office, you don't even have a phone, you don't even have a computer. Nothing. Nothing. Paper. Take a look and upgrade that. Thank you.
Yes, but I don't think they go want to provide all these things in seed office, no. Because if they made all these outrageous claims and they have medical doctors on seed program, and I believe the government should just send the police and arrest the doctor. If the government is going to say that medical doctors was benefiting from the seed program, that is a good case for them to take and publicly shame the doctor. Because even if they put a medical doctor, even if the previous government put on the name of a medical doctor and they were benefiting from the program, they were supposed to immediately inform the office and give back the money. So I am asking the government to name that doctor. You see, Grenadians forgetting. In 2008, top spokespersons for the National Democratic Congress said, within 8 to 9 days, FBI and Scotland Yard would be in Grenada. They made all these outrageous claims and lies. Some of their lawyers had to apologize publicly for some of the lies they took. But they were well supported by individuals in the diaspora because they believed them. And now we must find out this information and provide it for them. If they say there were dead people on the list, then let them say who were the dead people. If they said that people in the seed program was put on the list just before election, then what you need to do is say the number of people and who that was put just before election. And that is why I speak about Leopold. The Belgian government knew that he was lying. But he was a charmer. Europe knew that he was not doing what was right. But it reached to the point where over 10 million Africans was maimed, murdered, or died from starvation before the imperial power in Europe spoke about. When Mr. Tillman Thomas, a past Prime Minister of Grenada, endorsed the government restorative justice policy and trying to say it is rebalancing, you don't even have the guts to say restorative justice. You're giving rebalancing. And the journalist seems to want to move away from the question quickly. When the government claimed that they never said they will build 500 houses, they never said the government will build it. Now this is a whole unnecessary pile of lies sold to the Grenadian people. And now the government wants to wiggle its way out from it. But it is affecting people. People are affected. And the people are affected is ordinary poor people. Somebody must speak up for them. People did not speak up for the Africans. Over 10 million of them perished. That was the first genocide of the 20th century. These things don't have to happen in society. A lot of time in society, the neighbors could prevent conflicts. The neighbors could intervene and prevent fights. You see today, friends are pulling out the telephone to video conflicts rather than avoiding it. And that's why I appeal to the moderate members of the National Democratic Congress to justify, give economic justification why it was necessary for you to deny the people in the seed program $150. Give economic reasons why you moving out some of them. They don't have running water. They don't have toilet inside. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, caller, welcome.
I said I justify the reason why them were 115. We give in we put in $150 with it, and we give in 500 more persons, so that one set of people who have the money, it will spread about the 500 persons that the NMP leave about for the 9 years. We giving them so them who have a life to live. Mr. Pierre, I call the program yesterday. Not your program, but the guy program. And you know when I started to speak, the guy cut me off.
Caller. You don't my program, and I'm listening to you. I have no control on other programs. Let's go.
I know that. But listen, Mr. Pierre, what those guys doing? It was that what my bishop is to do.
Caller. You see how you stray from your point. The government of the day is refusing to answer questions. A guy have a program, he don't have to tolerate you. You are tolerated on my program. Use the time.
Well, I usually
Go ahead.
Explain to you. When you cut off somebody, you're doing just as what my bishop is to do. My bishop had the power.
So he sent them in jail.
When you disagree with the policy.
Deacon Mitchell have the power, so he denied the people $150.
Yes.
Deacon Mitchell have the power, so he fined people.
Yes, he had the power.
And do you agree with that?
I agree that he given.
Do you agree? Do you agree with the liberal attitude Deacon having traveling? That ministers traveling with a boyfriend? You agree with that?
Any travel with a boyfriend once they pay for it.
Do you agree with the $160,000 that is floating around was given to number 10?
I don't know about floating around.
But come on, the last time you talk about things on the ground, you are an informed person. You know what's going on the ground.
Well, you listen to me now. When my bishop, you say something about my bishop government, what they did, they lock you up. When you talk about the NMP, you know how you're doing? You can't lock me up because I didn't have the power to lock up people. So I just cut them off. So that's the same principle. The principle of one power and it could jail you, and the principle of one power could cut you off. But listen to me. That go stop, they will stop it. Listen to me.
Okay.
When NMP was in power, they selling passport for Conman and Cook, fellas as ambassadors. They sell a passport for $300,000, Mr. Pierre. The people at the government share the money. They put $150,000 in the government treasury. They give a man, the man will find the money to buy the passport. The government they give him $10,000. The NMP take the $140 and they share it. The Prime Minister asking them what they do with the money, they can't say. But they're not denying it. They're not denying it.
Caller.
Yes.
You know Deacon say that and they telling me lie. Caller. When you publicly call out a prime minister and you tell him he lie and he cannot present the evidence, then the prime minister is not believable. The prime minister say he have the cabinet conclusion and they challenge him to present it. So he was telling lies.
The amount of money you sell the passport for. That is the cabinet conclusion.
All right, caller. If you, my brother,
yeah.
You hear we speaking on radio and we challenging the people in the government.
Yes,
when we believe we right, we daring the government to take us on. And that is why people telling the prime minister, you telling lies. And a prime minister in a country is the first among equals. So yes, prime minister is going to make mistakes. They're not perfect. But you don't expect a prime minister to sit down and plan lies. And it appears that our prime minister is doing that. And I said before, Comrade Dennis Cornwall and Comrade Lennox Andrew seems to be complicit in that act because they are senior public officers that knows better. They knew that the government must have a parallel service. They knew that the government cannot make everybody permanent. They was well aware that the government cannot make the Imani permanent. So it appears to us they was complicit in a lie. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, caller, good day.
That man that's speaking all the time there, let me give him a verse of scripture.
Well, only give him the scripture.
Whosoever hated his brother is a murderer. And he know that no murderer has eternal life abiding in him. His heart is full of hatred. And his heart is full of hatred. And all what he could talk about is hatred. But the Bible style him a murderer.
Yes, you see, caller, one of the challenges we have in Grenada is a lot of people don't know the policy of the political party they support. The National Democratic Congress, the policy of the National Democratic Congress is always more hostile to people in the lower income group. Look at what they did in 2009. You follow what they did in 2008, 2013 period. So you could practically predict what the government could have done in 2022. But we believe their lies. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Pierre, you only sitting listening for libel. I hope you could pay for the libel when you sit down there listening libel. You just listen, people pick up thing on the room, trap, enter here, say, and just put it on the radio. I hope you have money to pay for that.
A lot of these, one of the challenges that we have, and one of the challenges that perhaps NNP had, NNP never defended those accusations and issues. So the members go wrong and they're not informed. And this is why people could have said there was no need for a parallel service, and the NNP believe.
You listen. Dr. Mitchell was saying, if you forget this first, how they call it in the with the NDC.
Dr. Mitchell's voice alone was not enough. There was a number of people in the community.
Of late, you get it in of late when the campaign was going and you didn't get that, is of late because they can come in just in the
You see, that is when you find a people Not informed. That's why slavery takes so long, you know. That is why slavery lasts so long.
Mr. Pierre, you listen to Canada's speech?
No, I didn't follow up that.
The man go quiet and somebody stand up and ask him how they didn't have this Grenada don't the citizenship program, this thing. The man saying that, what was he replied talking about Canada looking to it. Canada looking to Dominica and Grenada. And then who have, how they call it, passport from America, they could go to Canada. Well, tell him I say, put that and let it go.
Caller, over the years, I've been studying the history of the NDC, the utterances of the NDC, and I try to engage discussion with a lot of NDC. I practically know what they're going to say in America. I don't even have to waste time to listen to them. I know what they're going to say.
Man leave Grenada and he sit down in Canada, lying.
Well, I know what he going to say, and so why waste time bothering?
Why Grenadians people don't learn sense? They reading, you know, but what he come and say they believe in.
You see, I call on people to research Leopold.
I have children in Canada. I don't believe they know that and they don't go in things like that because they don't follow politics. But you don't live here and going and lie against people like that and you know what he's saying.
Well, Bishop used to do it and they believe him.
Well, I tell you, they don't go contrary to it. They listen to him, and when he say what he said, he fool them with the old lie. And
that is why we have to get the dead people that are alive now.
Oh.
That is where we need the information. The people in your community that was on the seed program, and they removed them. You speak to them and find out whether or not.
Yeah, we have to call the dead people.
And let it. That is why I'm asking Comrade Dennis Cornwall to research the girl with the white cane.
Well, who talking about the 5 people and they take out 5 and they put 5?
Well, how you know they put 5 and not 1? They say they put 5. We just accepting the lies.
Only all lie alone. We'll stand with that lie, Mr.
No,
Pierre.
but now you must challenge it. And the only how you could challenge those lies is with the truth. When somebody run away from the truth, you tighten them. So that is,
Canada money, and when he come with it, he don't do nothing to Grenada.
It's not Canada money, it's our money that paying the bills.
Yeah, but he don't do nothing to it of the people who need.
The government was not there to seek the interests of the people who need.
People go wicked, sir.
They don't wicked, caller. Caller. You vote for the government. The government told you that you was getting too much handout. The government was against the money program. The government was against workers on contract. The government was against the debushers. You vote for the government say you greedy and needy. You vote for that.
Well, I cannot understand. I mean, we don't have sense.
We have sense, but sometimes we need more explanation.
We just letting a little children and them come and fool big people, man.
Well, big people don't have to fool. Leopold fool them.
Mr. Pierre later.
Yes. And that's why I tell you all to pick up your telephone and Google Leopold. If you forget Leopold, Google the butcher of the Congo. And then you understand. And this is why I don't care about reparation. Our people is the one doing their own people wrong. Because people is going to... Yes, caller, welcome.
Good day, sir.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, well, I will say that your program is doing very well because I was told by an activist of the NDC that they're planning to give 2 fortnights for Carnival because they're getting some blows on the chandeliers. So I don't know if it's a fact. Maybe somebody else could call and confirm that. I just spoke about Bishop's situation. Monks get very, very bad. I was lucky to escape, but monkeys get very, very, very bad.
But when they didn't get you to take your brother?
Yeah, they didn't catch me because God forgive that I had them jump the plane, but monkeys pass very bad. I never had a mark on monkeys. Monkeys don't pass good at all. I personally saw Morris before I travel having a smoke as well with the boys in Tivoli Pass there, so that they do promise he sit down with them and encourage them. So that's the kind of man he was. And our Prime Minister earlier in this year tell us ban with job for 2023. Things are going to be hard. And he's not giving us no hope, no courage.
Well, you see, caller, the Prime Minister, the NDC was never, the policy never in your interest. But a lot of people don't understand that. And I think this is the point that we have to get home in Grenada. There's a lot of people in Grenada that like the NDC government, you know. They got tax break. They could travel now with a boyfriend. They're traveling every minute away. They're benefiting immensely from NDC government. But NDC always hostile towards people in the lower income group. You remember what Black Wizard said? Inside NDC, he have an MP. The question is, why would a people support an organization that is against them? This is the sociological research that's supposed to take place. In 2008, the NDC blatantly tell lies to the Imani. They told them they're going to give them $1,000. When they told them we would not fire you. After the election, they said we will not fire you. They fired the Imani. In 2022, the NDC apologized to the Imani. They said we made a political mistake. This time we're going to make you permanent. The Imani support them again. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, the NDC of 2009, as you have alluded to, have deceived the people of Grenada immensely. Is that right?
Yes, they deceived the people of Grenada.
And as you said, they orchestrated a bunch of lies which have highlighted their policies. And that's true, right?
Well, I've been studying this political party, you know. I've been studying this political party for a long while. That's what I do. And I concentrate on the policies of the government, not individual mistakes. And based upon the policy of the NDC, there are some people in the society, I am baffled why they support NDC. Because once the NDC government come in power, they will be affected.
All right. So in 2009, all these lies and all these false policies were orchestrated by the hierarchy of the NDC. At the time, one of the chief members of the NDC was the General Secretary named Peter David. Today, Peter David is a front runner to replace Dr. Keith Mitchell on the NNP party. And you knowing what you've known of all the lies and falsehoods that was orchestrated by the party, who had a leader, the General Secretary, Peter David. You had members like Chester Humphrey, who is also a member of the NNP. Are you happy and satisfied to have these people joining the NNP, knowing what you know about the NDC of 2009? I'll listen to your comment.
Yes, scholar, and I hope you do. And you give me a minute to respond to this gentleman. Because I think that is fundamental. The NDC have a history of getting rid of, firing, and diluting all the moderate members. Go back and study the history of NDC. They fire any moderate member in the party. They dilute their significance. This is why Black Wizard said, inside NDC, he have NNP. Go back and study the history of NDC. Whenever the moderate members challenge them, they say, no, you can't do poor people, children that. You must help the elderly. NDC does get mad with them. And they just fire them. That is why NDC got rid of Kenny Larson in the Hollis. That is why they get rid of Peter David. Chester Humphrey is one of the best trade union leader that passed in the country. He was always at odds with NDC. And there are more in NDC that got choked. This is why there are some people in the NDC. You wondering why they continue to be there. And that is why I appeal to them. Because I know deep down, they are a little bit more sensitive to the cries of the elderly. But this is why Leopold lost so long. Because somehow or the other, these people stay with the NDC too long. The NDC always hostile towards the elderly, the physically challenged, and disadvantaged children. Always, Scholar. Yes, Scholar, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre. Your guest. Mr. Pierre, we have another person we have to challenge. Richard Duncan. Richard Duncan is in charge of the CBI program, whatever. 373 days they're in office. Your over 900 CBI passport was sold. How much persons did Richard Duncan vetted? We have to challenge that.
But Caller, remember, Richard Duncan is an advisor. So yes, so he might have. We don't know where he's at, which direction his advice go. And since he is not a politician, and remember, none of the press go to him and ask him any question. You remember they was asking Richard Duncan, the press went to him to find out what would be the cost of the effect of the pension law. And the figure he gave was not far apart with that of Dr. Kit Mitchell. But you know how the press avoiding these individuals? And they don't have to say nothing because they are not politicians.
Right.
If the press go to them, but the press is in complicity, the press is working hand in hand with victimization.
Okay.
That is why when they ask him about the houses, and he said, he never said NDC go build, government go build the houses. It was a tintillating laugh by the press person. I watched the laugh. It was a laugh to remember. And they never follow up with the question. So we have to face reality in Grenada.
Yes.
And somebody in Richard Duncan social status, NDC is a better government for. You see, there are some people in Grenada that benefits immensely when NDC in power. Because NDC is not sensitive to people in the lower income strata. So I'm certain some of them don't even have to go and see Lady Maury in St. James. Because the government reminds them these people have no right to be poor and it's a fault to be poor. The NDC government does punish you if you fall in the lower income group. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, they have to find out why they spell that Mr. Peter David. Mr. Peter David didn't side in with what they was doing.
No, well, he was an NNP inside NDC.
That is it.
He have more. Anytime he was an NNP, Wizard told you that.
That is why he get expelled, so he can't come and say...
He stayed there too long, Peter David stay around them too long.
They cannot say NDC man there inside NMP, because you have to ask the question, why Mr. Peter was expelled from the party?
Remember, if you remember the history good, they accused some others when the fighting was going in NDC. Some of them was accused too, you know.
Yeah.
Because they say you have too much of NNP inside NDC.
That is it.
So Peter David should have never associated with that political party.
So that's why they have to understand.
Yeah.
That's why you have to be.
Yeah.
And Mr. Philip, good afternoon. Glad hearing your voice. God bless you.
You see,
May God be with you.
You see, it's very important for us to understand. All political parties do good to some people. You normally advocate for a political party to take the whole country's interests at heart. But the NDC normally does not seek the interests of people in the lower income group. Now you find some people in the lower income group, they're showing off. They're playing hefe. They're giving the impression them is done. So they jump up with NDC. But if you owning under $3,000 a month, trust me, you poor, you marginalized, you need lower income group. You don't have no right in NDC. Yes, caller, welcome.
Why don't young people call your station?
Well, maybe, remember, a lot of young people are working. They're looking for a job. They're on the job line. And we have a government today that is vindictive and practicing political vengeance through the restorative policies. That is a policy Mr. Tillman Thomas called rebalancing. So I do not advise public officers or people who are looking for a job from government to associate or call my program. Remember, the government set up the MIT. Remember, the government was sending the agents to go in NNP political activities to see who are the public officers attending this session. I objected to it loud and clear. But I'm not fooled, they're still doing it. So if you're on a job line, if you're looking for a job, if you're a public officer, I would advise you, don't call my program. Because you're likely to be victimized. And this is why I ask Comrade Dennis Cornwall to go and find out about the lady with the white cane in St. Patrick's. You must go. The comrade, you must go and find out. And see if it is justified. Is she justified to be on the program? And if you feel she is justified, make sure she get back she 150. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
I'm replying to the caller who called and say why young people are not calling. I'm a young person. I am a youth, and I am not afraid of the government. I am not afraid of the malicious victimization that they're practicing on our fellow youths in this trial and state. I will call, I will make my voice be heard, because there are some who choose not to call because they do not want to get on the other side of the law with this government. But I know definitely that they are planning. They are also ensuring that they are registered, especially those that are just turning 18 years of age. We are coming out, we are forming the forces, and we will ensure that when the next election is called, that our voices are being heard and we are not left on the back burner as this present administration are leaving us behind. We are not seeing any of the youth in the forefront in all the big statutory boards, the big committees that are being selected by the NDC. the jobs, the increase, the prominence, none of that is being happening. A set of failed promises. It's time we are getting together to get them out. For Grenada to grow, NDC must go.
I take a lot of pains to protect people in the public service. Sometimes they engage me outside the radio, but I would not encourage them to call my program. There are some people who are affected, but they don't want me call their name because their children are in school and they're worried. Yes, caller, welcome.
They are not calling because you're all talking nonsense.
Okay, then that could be a point too. It could be that we're speaking nonsense, that the young people not calling. Caller, that's your opinion too. But I do everything to protect individuals. If somebody, they on the seed program, they throw them out, but they wouldn't call because they don't want a name come out because they have a child that work with government. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre.
Yeah.
Tell the caller what calling and talking nonsense. Tell him to tell his Prime Minister of Grenada at Carrico and Petit Martinique to stop lying to the nation people. Because we are suffering in the country and they can't see that. Only them don't know we suffering, but we are suffering.
Yes. And this is, yeah. And he might surprise to know when Comrade Dennis Cornwall go and find the individual that walks around with the white cane, I wouldn't surprise if he considers young. And the sister that was calling from Union, I wouldn't surprise if they find her as young. But the issue is, these issues are real and we must not ignore them. And you may not find Rastas calling, they must give up now. Because they find your life for them again. And it was not necessary. And if we continue like that, we're going to do damage to the very fabric of our society. Today, Catholics had the Feast of St. Thomas. St. Thomas was one of the apostles, and St. Thomas was the one associated, I think in the Bible they say, you believe because you see, but blessed are those who believe and they have not seen. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
You know, this caller just going to talk about you all talking nonsense. What you all say, the world could see, even the blind could see that what you all saying, what the program is saying is the facts. We are living in Grenada and we see what the government is doing towards the people. And if the caller say speaking nonsense, I do believe we should continue speaking the nonsense. The nonsense that the Grenada people understand and the Grenada people know. What you are saying and what other programs say is the facts, and there is nothing could change that. Because I do believe that caller who's speaking speaking nonsense. Look at the nonsense that the government promised the people, lies, impossible lies, right? About the permanent, right? No one will go home. You say about the World Bank say that the people who get this money should get 650, 350, and 450 is not sufficient. And what did the government did? They reduce it. I wanted to speak about that and to ask if this is nonsense. Things that it happened, I'm speaking about it. The suffering that is going on in the country, you speak about if this is nonsense. And if this is nonsense, I will like to associate that, what you are speaking about, so that I know the Grenada people know what is going on. Nobody else can tell Grenada people what is what. They know what is Grenada. As I want to say, the Grenada know what is Calvisto and know what is good Calvisto. We know who's speaking the facts and who lie and who continue to lie for the Grenada people. Because the failed policy, the Grenada see through it. All the promises that they made, the Grenada see through it. And they feel so shame. Even so, them who call in the program, they know what you're saying is the truth.
Yes, caller. Yes, I think it's important. I think it's important for us to register some facts. And as I say, St. Thomas was the one responsible for preaching Christianity in India. So many times when you're growing up, you hear your parents say, don't be doubting Thomas. And once again, we call on Comrade Dennis Cornwall. You're from the north. We are not too bothering with the other minister because he might believe that the individual that walk around with the white cane is not a good person. He continue with the good people in St. Patrick's. But Comrade Dennis Cornwall, I think it's in your interest to investigate who the individual are. And the minister that leads the seed program, you need to go in byline and find out in Bamboo. And if you don't know, bring number 10. Number 10 could help you find the gentleman in Bamboo, and you'll find out if he's a doctor, because you seem to believe there were medical doctors that you removed. But he's not a doctor, and he don't have running water, and he don't have toilet. And number 10, I believe you need to give some explanation. Is it true? There's a lot of information circulating on the ground. It could be rumors that's spreading, but they claim that number 10 get $160,000 to jump over the fence. Number 10, who paid for your trip to England? And who paid for your trip to the United States of America? It is important because in politics, it is an issue if people believe you were bought. One would express sympathy if they believe you were pimped. And some would be extremely concerned if they think you're a Trojan horse. So I think you ought to provide some explanation. It is in your interest, particularly when you publicly acclaim that you squeaky clean. You know, we could always try to verify facts, and if you believe if you run away from the truth in our program, we will try to tie the truth on you. Mr. Exeter say the boy shake out the truth on him. Mr. Nyko say tie it back. You must not let him leave without the truth. We're back with you tomorrow. It's a holiday, so we're not here tomorrow. Tomorrow is a holiday. That is CARICOM holiday. We pray that the government would change their mind and give all individuals, particularly the Haitians, citizenship in Grenada. Thank you very much.